Don't let it distract you, though.
So that's going to be one of our visual aids. You can refer to it and follow it as we go along in our concept later on in our presentation, or you can use it for later, but that's something to help out.
Okay, you may begin.
Hello everyone, we are Team Superando Fronteras, otherwise known as SF. My name is Francis Guerrero.
My name is Carmen Casnade.
I'm Shamsa Harani.
And I'm Andrew Yama.
So why Superando Fronteras, and what does that mean? Superando Fronteras means overcoming boundaries. And we have a mission to help Power Practical overcome monetary and geographic boundaries to reach people at the BOP. Additionally, we also have the mission of helping young entrepreneurs in Peru overcome the boundaries of education and infrastructure to achieve their dreams. And lastly, as students at the University of Houston, we have the mission of exceeding the boundaries of our classroom and affecting the world around us.
And before we get into our presentation, I'm going to do a little exercise with you. If you can close your eyes and just imagine with me. We are a month away from graduation. And imagine that you don't know what you're going to do for your job. You have worked endless hours to try to get there. You have set yourself up for success and done everything that you possibly can. You have barely any financial success. You're trying as hard as you can to make it, and it's just not happening. You graduate next semester and you don't have a job to be placed in, and you don't have a business to be implemented. Imagine how hard this is for you and your family who's worked so hard to support you. Now open your eyes and imagine doing all of this on less than $2 a day, because that's what 400,000 young Peruvians go through each year. Think about how much harder that is to live on less than $2 a day. And that's why we want to introduce to you our partner in our project, El Proyecto de Poder and Power Practical. Today we're going to talk to you about Power Practical, the product that we're working with, which is the Power Pot. We'll talk to you about Peru and our target market of Juliaca. We'll talk to you about our concept plan, or El Proyecto de Poder. We'll also talk about our marketing strategy, our supply chain, and lastly, we'll have time for questions and answers.
So we'll start out by talking about Power Practical. We're very, very fortunate to work with a company like Power Practical. They're a startup company that was founded in 2010 in Salt Lake City, Utah. They had two very successful Kickstarter campaigns, one which exceeded the goal by over 250%, and the other one by an astonishing 1,600%. Power Practical has been popularized in America by the outdoor market. People who like to go camping and hiking and biking, basically places where they're off the grid and need something that's going to give them energy. They have done this by introducing their flagship product, the PowerPot 5. The PowerPot 5, it is made with hard aluminum. The capacity is about 1.4 liters, and with this, the lid and the cord, it weighs in at about 18 ounces. The bundle that they provide is the power pot, the lid, which you can turn upside down on the pot when you have water inside, and it can cook eggs and meat and other chunky substances that you can't put in the pot. A 3-foot cord, which is flame resistant. The battery pack, the lithium 1800 battery pack, and the LED light, which is 5 watts and very bright when illuminated. Power Practical wants to change the world, and we're going to help them do that by taking their product to an emerging market like Peru.
So why Peru? Peru is one of the fastest growing markets in all of Latin America. They've partnered with Chile, Colombia, and Mexico to form the Pacific Alliance, and now the largest trade zone in all of Latin America. Additionally, they also have trade agreements with the United States and China. Last year alone, their trade totaled $46 billion. With increased political stability, they've also encouraged a lot of foreign investors. So companies like Power Practical can feel encouraged to come and invest in the prosperity of Peru. Last year alone, they had $10 billion of foreign investment. They also are very rich in natural resources. They export zinc, copper, and other renewable energies. Now this is just one picture of Peru. Let me tell you about the other side of Peru. There's still poverty in Peru. While they're growing, and their GDP has grown at a rate of 4 to 6% every year since 2001. To put that in perspective, here in the United States, our GDP grows from 1 to 2%. So that's almost double, if not triple, the amount of growth. And they don't have the infrastructure to make sure that everyone has access to this prosperity and growth. They have 61% of rural households don't have access to electricity. Even more, unemployment has decreased, but unemployment amongst young adults has actually increased. In 1998, unemployment amongst young adults with tertiary education was 26.7%. Today, that figure is 37%. That's almost a 10% increase in unemployment for young adults with tertiary education. So these young adults are graduating college and they don't have the opportunity to succeed. They want to succeed and they want to do well for their families and their communities, but are being forced to leave rural areas where they live to seek out opportunities in the city. So many young adults go out to the city and end up becoming taxi drivers or working seasonal jobs. We feel like this is an untapped market at the BOP, and we feel that Power Practical is best served helping Peru by investing in the youth and the young leaders who will one day empower their communities and serve the 30 to 40% of Peru's population that is going ignored. Now, Francis will tell you a little bit about our target market, Juliaca.
So our target market is Juliaca, located in the South Andean region of Puno. The reason we chose Puno is because it is the third most impoverished region in Peru. In addition, it has a 22% illiteracy rate, and also it has a great resource of Lake Titicaca. Within Lake Titicaca, they have a great altitude of 12,350 feet above sea level. This is a challenge for the region because not a lot of investment or not a lot of opportunity goes there because it's difficult to live in that environment. In addition, they experience extreme temperatures ranging from 22 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit on average. Juliaca is actually a city outside of the capital, and it is known to be the financial capital of Puno. And the reason it is because it's almost like a transit hub. It has an airport in the city, and in addition, because of that, it connects it to major cities around it. And so, in addition, they have bus routes and multiple things, but everybody comes to Juliaca as like a center port. And so we see that as an opportunity because 25% of the labor force actually is dedicated to trade. And so many of the inhabitants, they come to the markets on Sundays and Mondays, and they come together to sell their goods and services. We see this as an opportunity for potential business owners to come, in addition, to be able to reach a large audience all at once. Juliaca is also known to be, and like I said, into the financial capital, but mostly it is known to be a commercial, and it also has the largest population in the Puno region at 225,000 inhabitants. And so in addition, we also chose Juliaca because of the educational opportunities. They have 4 main universities and 3 local trade schools that we are currently in contact with, and we also have developing infrastructure. Currently, the government is investing $800 million into US dollars into creating a highway that goes from Cajamarca, Peru, all the way down to Puno, Peru. And so with that, not only are you creating a safer, more efficient route to Puno, you are also creating opportunities for more development and also to streamline, like for example, in our concept, the supply chain process. Lastly, we feel that there is a need for electricity there in the region because 51% of the population lives in the rural areas. And so we do see the need for electricity, especially those that live in the off-grid areas. And now we would like to show you a video about Peru that we compiled.
Aramis lost his parents when he was very, very young. After a few years, he decided that he wanted to go into the city and start a business of his own, a business where he would be selling sweets. Aramis had no experience and no financial support, so his business did not last. He didn't see any opportunity, and he didn't think that he could do well in business. So Aramis joined a gang. After a few years of being in the gang, he decided that he needed a change of lifestyle. So he decided to apply to a trade school. Aramis went to the trade school, and like many other people in the trade school, began to think, what am I going to do after graduation? Where am I going to work? What is my degree going to be worth? He clearly had the entrepreneurial spirit. He wanted to create his own business, but he lacked the resources, the education, and the financial support to do so. Don't you agree that if we could provide a solution to Aramis, some sort of financial stability, and some sort of education to teach him how he could run his business, he could have a successful business?
I do. And in order to ensure young graduates and people like Aramis are successful, we've created our concept plan, and we've named it El Proyecto de Poder. First, we'll start with our company, which is called Power Practical, and we told you a little bit about them. The second step in our process, and again, it's in your wheel, is our educational institutions. We've decided to partner with our educational institutions in order to create a sustainable pipeline of young graduates and students who are ready to get out in the workforce and ready to create their own businesses. These graduates are willing and able to create their own businesses, and with El Proyecto Poder, we're giving them the ability to do so. Wouldn't you agree that by partnering with the educational institutions that would provide a sustainable plan to ensure that at least 10 new graduates will go into this program that we've created each year for Power Practical?
I surely do. Another avenue we're using to facilitate growth for our young entrepreneurs is TechnoServe. Since 1982, TechnoServe has been helping rural entrepreneurs in over 30 countries achieve their goals and dreams. They believe, like us, that anybody, anywhere with the will to succeed can do great things. Thus, in 2012, they partnered with 7,000 entrepreneurs to generate $770,000 in extra income. So wouldn't you agree that using an accelerator like TechnoServe to provide capital and access to information and markets best serves our entrepreneurs?
I agree with Kamran, but how are we going to be able to fund this? To fund our project, we decided to partner with Banco de Crédito del Perú. They're actually the largest bank in Peru, and in 2009, they partnered with Edificar, which was one of the largest microfinance institutions in the country. It was actually ranked number 9 in all of Latin America. At the time that they partnered with Edificar, Edificar had 195,000 borrowers. So today that number is well over 200,000 people. With our contacts, Lionel, Paloma, and Luciana, we are building a relationship with Edificar and figuring out a way that they can partner with us and support our project.
So with our 4 partners, in order to maintain these relationships, Power Practical will need to implement a social sales director. This social sales director will help ensure that our 10 graduates will go into the program each year, and they will also maintain the relationships with our educational institutions, our organizations such as TechnoServe, and our finance organizations such as Banco de Crédito. The second aspect of El Proyecto de Poder is empowering the Peruvians. How we will do this is through giving them a brand. El Proyecto de Poder will serve as a tagline under their unique company name, depending on who they want to market to within their own community. The price of our package is Premier Paso, and it carries 2 power pots, 30 battery packs, 30 LED lights, and 3 charging cables. This will provide a sustainable business model for them to sell through their charging stations.
So what exactly is a charging station? We're giving them a power pot bundle with, like Andrew said, 2 pots, multiple LED lights, and multiple battery packs. A charging station will be a station where they can set up their pots and charge for the service of charging mobile devices, radios, anything else that can be charged with a USB device, or with a USB plug. In the charging station, through our research, we found out that they could make $6 a day with each power pot, totaling to $12 a day with 2 power pots, which is 600% more than they're currently making. Through our charging station, we will also be able to sell the LED lights and the battery packs. We will have 30 of them, we'll provide 30 of them, and they'll be able to sell those to people who live in the local community. The power pot also works with water, any substance that can come to a boil, so they'll be able to sell coffee, tea, chicha, and even soups and stews to generate additional income.
Okay, so our partner is currently partnering with a Chinese company to reduce their cost of goods while maintaining their quality of services. And we completely believe in that project. So that takes us to our supply chain. We are going to take our manufactured goods from China to the port of Callao via sea freight. Over there, we're going to use a forwarding service to forward our Primer Paso package, which actually stands for First Step, to the city of Lima. In the city of Lima, we will use Cruz del Sur, a passenger bus transportation service that also doubles for ground freight. We will use ground freight to transport these packages to our target market of Juliaca. In Juliaca, entrepreneurs will be able to pick up their packages upon showcasing their vouchers from Banco de Crédito de Peru, and they will obtain these vouchers by signing up in our Power Project program. Now that you know a little bit about our supply chain ideas, I'm going to pass it off to Francis to talk about social impact.
So the social impact in Peru will be evident with the young adults and their communities. Through our research, we found that the young adult market was very underserved. There wasn't any specific institutions that were focusing on them. We couldn't find any microfinance institutions that had a plan specifically for them. Because of this, we thought, why not young adults? Why not empower these students? Why not give them an opportunity when other people are neglecting to give it to them? So as a result, we thought we could empower these students to become community leaders. Instead of migrating to the larger cities, instead of taking that talent, instead of taking those ideas and taking them over to the larger cities, why not have them implement them in their own communities to be able to impact their families? As a result, they'll be able to break that cycle of poverty. Poverty doesn't start later. It's current, it's now. And so we want to address the issue as it is occurring. And as a result, we find that we really do have this passion for serving young adults and making sure that they're able to impact future generations like their families. They will be able to provide education for their children, be able to have health care. Multiple things will be able to happen as a result of their implementation of this business. Late last night, we received confirmation from Arnold Reyes. He's the CEO and founder of Grupo Whiteboard in Peru, and he let us know that after he consulted with his board of directors, that they have agreed to partner with Power Practical and with Superando Fronteras to be able to implement this in Peru. We don't have any exact details as of right now because it was very late last night that he let us know, but we were so excited to share with you our passion and how they noticed that our cause is something that we're really working hard towards and we want to achieve. Personally, I believe that if Grupo Whiteboard is able to take those first steps, that we should also be able to we should also be able to empower these young adults to take el primer paso. So as a team, we would like to ask you a question.
Wouldn't you agree?
That a good return on investment
Is
One that could span for generations. Thank you.
We're now open for questions.
Let's see. I think it was you that mentioned that where did you guys calculate that they're making about average $6 a day when they're generating these charging stations?
okay, so the way we've got those figures is it takes an hour to charge this LED battery pack, and we were going to charge 50 cents per charge. So 50 cents per charge at 12 hours a day, you make $6 a day with one power pot. With two power pots, you make $12 a day. And like Shamsa alluded, that is 600% of what they currently live on. And that's just only accounting for charging services, not accounting for the additional income that they generate while actually charging battery packs. Like the like the beverages, like the sale of LED lights and battery packs that can substitute for kerosene lamps and car charge batteries.
With that revenue, is cost for, because you have to heat up the product before you can charge it, right?
Sure.
So did you guys accumulate that cost with that, or how are they heating up their?
They currently do use a lot of biofuels, and actually that's one aspect that we didn't consider, and that's definitely something we didn't get too specific as far as cost structure, and this was just a preliminary idea, but that's definitely something we'll consider going forward.
Okay.
Where are they currently charging their phones and batteries and all of that?
You take that? Okay. Well, currently they have a lot of trade shows, like Francis said. They have a lot of trade shows, and people come out from these rural communities closer in towards Juliaca. And they, at these trade shows, predominantly held on Sundays and Mondays, they come and they charge their phones, and they use these mobile phones to sell their perishable goods. And they sell their perishable goods at these markets, and that's a large part of their income. Their economy is based largely upon these trade shows and trade markets where they sell, the goods they produce. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
The answer wasn't really clear to me. Where exactly do they charge their phones? They just go to the trade shows,
Well, no,
and they find an outlet.
Charging stations in Puma. They do currently have charging stations in Puma.
Okay.
And the cost, like the project proposes that they're gonna charge more or less the same amount that people are already paying, having to go to another location.
Yes, and currently they use to operate TVs and radios, they use car batteries that have a shorter battery life and actually cost more to charge. So they're getting a lower grade of services and are actually paying more than their on-grid counterparts.
Can you guys first tell us more about what Grupo Whiteboard does? And second, have you all been contacting local universities and high schools yet about educational programs?
Yes. So Grupo Whiteboard is almost like they're kind of a holdings company. And so underneath them, we have Hub Inc. And so we started our contact through Hub Inc. because the CEO and founder, Arnold Reyes, he actually went through a program called Emprende Ahora, where he was a student that was taught the entrepreneur and how to invoke these skills. And he created this company as a result of his program. And so through that, he has multiple companies. And so we just kind of found an outlet through Hub Inc. And then it just kind of went through Whiteboard Group. And so basically they're a holdings company, and their website doesn't really say too much on there, and it's been very difficult to get in contact with Arnold himself sometimes, but through the email he let us know, but we don't know too many details besides the fact that they are fully on board with supporting our idea. They said that they have the financial resources to do so, and that is pretty much up to the extent of the email that he let us know about it. But they're just very socially responsible companies, so that's why they had huge interest.
Question. You wanted just some information about the supply chain, and that was getting the product from where you're shipping it to the city. Who pays for that? What's the upfront cost? The people who are benefiting, getting the $12 a day, do they have any upfront costs for any invested interest?
Well, we were thinking about building that cost into the cost of our package. And right now, we don't have any exact estimates. We're currently working with Cruz del Sur. They have given us preliminary estimates.
They have said that it's based on weight. So, for example, if you have the product in Lima, they're going to charge us based on weight. So they charge one sold with 80 something, which is almost like $1.80 if you want to put it like that. And so they'll do it by weight. So they charge you by kilo. And so on top of that, so let's say we have 20 kilos, they'll charge you that amount, but on top of that, they charge you 18% of extra taxes to go on top of that. But that's how they'll do the ground transportation all the way down to Juliaca, and then they'll have an agency there where the actual entrepreneur goes to go pick these items up. They'll not be delivered to their home, and then it won't be stored in a warehouse for any long-term period.
So what is the price?
We don't know because we don't know how much product we can put on a pallet or on a bus to be able to send that. Because when I spoke with them over the phone, they said that there's no limitation on the amount, which I thought was pretty big. But they just said that there's no limitation on the amount that you can take, and so that it's unclear.
How long will it take for you to get the product from Lima to Puno?
Well, typically coming from just Juliaca, it's like almost like an 8-hour bus drive just from like the closer regions, and so that just depends on how many stops they're going to be making because they do transport individuals as well as packages. So I really truly think that it just depends on how many stops that particular route is going to do.
And following up with that question, if the product's being manufactured into China and getting sent to Lima, what's that lead time of?
We estimated 45 to 60 days.
Okay.
Because currently it takes them 30 to 45 days to receive shipment from China to Salt Lake City.
So after it's being manufactured, you guys place these orders and put these in pallets. Is it when it arrives to Lima? How is it distributed? Is it distributed by certain packages, or you buy in bulk and like buy like 200 goes to Lima? Like where does it go from there, or how do you guys distribute it?
As we said, in order to keep our supply chain lean and eliminate holding costs, we decided to have the package direct for pickup for entrepreneurs in Juliaca. So as they go through the supply chain process, we will get the commitment from the 10 entrepreneurs that we feel confident that we'll be able to get for our pilot program, and they will make this shipment all at once, and the entrepreneurs will receive it, and then we'll begin their business, their premier process.
We're trying to eliminate any cost that's associated with storing.
Okay.
You mentioned a social sales director, so what's the criteria you have for hiring this person?
So a social sales director would have to speak both English and Spanish, preferably Quechua as well. And that social sales director will have to have sales experience and sales management experience as well, because they will have to maintain relationships with our 4 partners, in addition to sell them on continuing partnerships and possibly in growth in the future, growing more partnerships with other organizations as well.
So you're starting with one, and they'll be located in your target market.
In terms of volume then, you'll have 10 entrepreneurs who will be purchasing these through a micro lender. And so they would have up to 2 pots per entrepreneur. So you're starting off with about 20 in your shipment, and that's for the first year, and then the next year you'd have another group of 10?
Depending on the demand, yes.
Okay.
That's our estimated currently right now, that we are sure that we can get at least 10. However, if in our introductory, we have more of a demand, more of a need, we're not opposed to increasing that amount of students that we would like to help.
And that's why we positioned ourselves in Juliaca, because it has an airport. And if we ever needed to do a shipment that was too big for ground freight, we might be able to potentially use that.
So how many, to piggyback on that, how many would those 10 entrepreneurs be able to reach?
So
clientele-wise?
Each entrepreneur will have those 30 battery packs inside there, so 300 different people that they'd be able to provide power to. 300
with all 10 of those entrepreneurs?
With all 10. And then potentially more if they just use it as a cell phone charging station or other means, but with the products that we're providing.
You also mentioned earlier that it's a commercial town and financial capital, and so it seems like they may already have jobs. They may not have, and if they don't, they're making $200 a day. You said it was a 600% return, is that correct? Are you reaching the BOP, or are you reaching those people that are in Juliaca? Because those are 2 totally different target markets.
Well, one concern for our microfinance institutions